Bitcoin is right now creating a massive falling wedge, and if it ends up breaking out, we are going to see a massive breakout for Bitcoin all the way towards a new all-time high. More about this later. We have a lot to discuss about because a lot has happened recently again for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is most likely about to move really big. So let's first of all start with this massive falling wedge. So we all know right now that we are creating a gigantic rising wedge here over on the 1 week time frame for Bitcoin. However, now on the 1 day time frame, we are also creating a gigantic, however this time a falling wedge, which is of course a typical bullish pattern. A rising wedge is most of the time a bearish pattern, however a falling wedge is a really bullish pattern. And this falling wedge has a breakout target all the way at a new all-time high. So if we do end up breaking out, it could be absolutely insane and we could send us back to all-time high in no time. All we have to do is break this downward sloping resistance line, and if we do break this downward sloping resistance line, we are definitely going to be seeing a massive breakout. Now if we compare this to this rising wedge we have right here, it will still make sense, because if Bitcoin goes to around 126k, then Bitcoin is still trading within this rising wedge, meaning if we go up to somewhere like here, we're still in this rising wedge. Whoa, it gets really confusing now. And we're still within the range, and then once we reach somewhat of a new all-time high, most likely at like 130k, which I talked about in my video yesterday, then we're most likely going to see a rejection from there. So it literally all plays out perfectly right now. However, it does mean that within this shorter time frame, we are potentially going to see a gigantic move to the upside, and you need to keep paying attention to this, because once it does break to the upside, it could be really quick and really bullish. However, if it does break to the downside, or at least to the bottom of the pattern again, then we could see new local lows as low as $98,000 to $97,000, which is of course a new local low we have not seen in literally over, what is it, like 8 months or something. So you need to keep an eye on that as well. Now we have much more news and charts to talk about. Before we do that, I quickly wanted to say that if you want to trade Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, meme coins with leverage, and you don't want to use a VPN, you want to use it in every single country, then you need to start using Bluefin. It's available in every single country, no VPN needed. It's the best crypto and leverage exchange out there right now. I've been using them for more than a year on all my trades. It's perfect, the fees are low. Plus, if you use the first link in the description below, you literally get 15% trading bonus cashback, which you can use towards your losses, your funding fees, your wins. Plus, you get massive deposit and welcome bonuses. So go check it out, first link in the description below. Now, once we have talked about that, I quickly want to show you guys this chart as well. Because Bitcoin, literally this falling wedge is just matching with everything right now. Bitcoin is right now here on the RSI, reaching this level of support. And the last couple of times we reached this level of support on the RSI, we have seen a gigantic move to the upside. And right now it is entering that support area again, meaning that if we do and basically repeat history, then we are most likely going to see a gigantic move to the upside again. And if we combine that with this falling wedge, which most of the time breaks to the upside, it will just really make sense. And to make it even more sense, we also have the MACD, which is about to cross bullish again. And the last time it happened was right here when we saw a gigantic pump. It was right here when we saw a gigantic pump. It was right around here we saw a gigantic pump. It was here, and it was here and here. You get the point. Every single time we get a bullish crossover on the MACD, we are going to see a massive pump to the upside, and we can see we are really close right now. And also we are almost seeing the first little green area here on the MACD. So yeah, everything is just looking really good for this breakout on the rising wedge. Every single indicator is right now pointing towards a move to the upside. So yeah, I'm definitely really bullish on Bitcoin right now, and I think a massive move is due. We have been just consolidating in this little area right here for like a week right now, and let's be real, we have literally been consolidating in this little area as well, which is just between 100 and 120k, something like that, for literally, what is it, the last last 8 months or something. So a massive breakout or breakdown is due, and I think we're going to get one more breakout to the upside before a gigantic move to the downside. Now I also wanted to show you guys this on a little bit of a shorter time frame. Why? Because, well, of course, when you're looking at a pattern like this, for example, this falling wedge, which is a bullish pattern, you always want to zoom in a little bit and see, well, what is actually happening here for Bitcoin. And we can see right now that Bitcoin is fighting with this little area of resistance we have right here. Bitcoin tried to break out, we couldn't, unfortunately, and it is still being rejected. However, the second we do end up breaking that level of resistance, the next area of resistance is always going to be here, somewhere at around $110,000. So Bitcoin has quite a big move to go once we finally do break this level at around 107,000 US dollars. That's the level we are trying to break right now, so you want to keep an eye on this. So if you are trading, or if you're just wondering why is Bitcoin not going up more, then you just want to look at this chart and see what is happening. Are we almost breaking this resistance right here, or are we getting a rejection back down? So that is really, really important to look at. Also, what is really important is we are still here on the 4-hour time frame in this downward sloping trend line. We can see we are still making lower lows. However, on the 5 and 10 and 30 minute time frame, which I showed you guys yesterday in my video, make sure you watch every single Bitcoin analysis video I do. I did actually notice that here finally on the 5 and 30 minute time frame, we are finally making somewhat of a higher high and higher lows. However, on the bigger time frames, we are still not making any crazy trend reverse basically, and that will be really, really good. So if we do end up breaking and then maybe flipping this into support, then it will finally end this little area, or this little, it's not even that little, it's a massive downward sloping trend basically. So once we do flip this area, I think all paths are clear for a gigantic breakout on this falling wedge, and we are most likely going to be sending up once more all the way back to a new all-time high, and it's going to be absolutely insane. Now, one more thing you need to take an eye on right now, or keep an eye on, is the CME gap. Unfortunately, we created a CME gap over on the weekend, and if we want to fill it up, we need to reach 104,000 US dollars, which is completely fine. It's not that big down, of course, not that far down. However, it is really important that we do fill it up, and 99% of the time we end up filling it up within the next couple of days of being created. So will it be a surprise if we do end up going down just a little bit more before we go further up. Now, another reason why we're potentially going even higher right now is also because of the US government shutdown almost ending right now. Just in, the Senate passes bills to reopen the US government, a bill to reopen the US government that's really, really bullish. If we look at Polymarket, there is right now a 95% chance that we are going to get the US government shutdown to end between November 12 and November 15, meaning that's literally, what is it? I think that's tomorrow or within the next couple of days. At least it's going to be this week. If it does happen, it's going to be really bullish for Bitcoin, and we're going to see a massive spike up for Bitcoin. Why? Well, the last time we saw the US government reopen, Bitcoin literally spiked up 300%, simply because it's just a really, really bullish for the economy. And it's just a really good factor that will send Bitcoin and crypto and stocks and the economy just really, really high. So yeah, I just want to keep looking at this. And I think once the US government does end, the shutdown does end, yeah, we're going to see a massive pump for Bitcoin immediately. So I just want to show you guys that. And that's almost the end. I just want to show you guys this chart for the last chart on today's video. The S&P is also doing really, really good, and Bitcoin is actually lacking a little bit right now. Bitcoin, it went up, of course, a little bit here. However, the S&P 500 went up much more. Also yesterday it went up quite good. And right now it is actually above this little area of previously resistance, now support again, which is really bullish. So if we do end up getting a red day today, then we are probably going to flip this into support again, and we're just most likely going to keep going higher, which is really, really bullish for Bitcoin. It will still mean we're in this upward sloping trend, and it's just looking really, really good right now, especially with the US government shutdown almost ending. Yeah, we're most likely just going to be making a new all-time high here for the stock market, and then probably also for Bitcoin in the longer time frame within the next couple of months. Maybe I still think we're going to get a new all-time high. And that's basically everything I have for you guys in today's video. So Please consider liking this video, subscribing to my channel if you want to support me. Check out Blovin, best crypto exchange out there. And make sure to check out every single video I am doing over on my YouTube channel, because I'm making a Bitcoin analysis video every single day for you guys, same time, always. So that being said, I hope I will see you guys tomorrow.